All right, friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking you on an inside cabin tour of Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Sea. Specifically, it's cabin 4027. If you ever wondered what it is like to have an inside cabin on this ship, how much space you're really going to get, and whether or not it's comfortable for a cruise, then this video is for you. Let's step inside and take a look around. So here we are in cabin 4027 on Grandeur of the Sea. Now, this is an inside cabin, which means no window, no balcony, no ocean view. But what it does mean that this is often one of the most budget-friendly ways to cruise. And honestly, if you're the kind of person who spends most of your time out around the ship, anyway, like really, an inside cabin can be a really smart choice. But honestly, sometimes I'd rather save my money on the room and spend it on another cruise. Because a balcony can cost you 2 to 3 times what an inside cabin can. So let's start right at the door and work our way through. As soon as you walk into the cabin, you've got the classic cruise cabin entryway, with the bathroom on one side and the closet on the other. The setup is actually really practical, because it gives you a little transition space when you come in from the hall. The closet area is where you usually hang your clothes, put your shoes. Sometimes you put your luggage here, sometimes you put it underneath the bed. But either way works. And all those random things you might that somehow multiply when you're on a cruise. So if you're organized, there's generally enough room for 2 people to settle in comfortably. And if you're not organized, well, the cabin may gently encourage you to become organized. You also have shelving and drawers in this area, which is highly helpful for keeping the room from feeling cluttered. So let's take a peek at the bathroom. Like most cruise ship bathrooms, this one is compact, but it has the basics you need. There's a sink, there's a toilet, mirror, shower, and shelves for toiletries. So the shower, of course, is not very big, but it does come with this soap that's used for both washing your body and your hair. So if you want special shampoo and conditioner, bring it yourself. So that's something to be aware of. Now, no one's going to confuse this bathroom with a luxury hotel room bathroom, but for a cruise life, it does the job. The key with cruise bathrooms is not just size, it's function. If everything works, the water gets hot, you can manage to shave your legs without pulling a muscle, you're doing well. For an inside cabin, this is pretty much what you expect. Simple, efficient, and perfectly usable. It's actually bigger than some of the bathrooms on some of the ships that I've been on. I was on one that you couldn't wash yourself. You had to turn the water off to soap up and then turn the water back on. So this one is a little bit bigger than that. So it works very fine. So as we come into the main cabin room, so here's what you're going to find. There's a bed or beds. So you've got a choice on Royal if you want your beds together or if you want them separated into twins. As shown in the picture, they are together. But we did have them separated into twin beds. And then we had a lot more space between the beds to walk around. There's always some nightstands, so that little place where you can put things on top, and usually you can stuff things underneath it as well. There's a desk and a vanity area, which we'll be showing you in a few minutes. There's a television. There's storage drawers, which is really great because not all of your stuff has to go in the closet. You can use the storage drawers. There is a safe, and this cabin came with a oversized chair, so some place to sit down on. One of the nice things about inside cabins is they're often laid out very practical. And there's a little bit of space. Every space has purpose. So this room may not be huge, but it is designed well enough for 2 people that they can move around without too much trouble. And of course, this is still a cruise, so nobody's hosting a dance recital in here. This is for sleeping, changing, and showering is what I use my cabin for. You can use it for relaxing or getting ready for dinner, but I have a tendency to be outside of my room to spend my time outside my room and enjoying the ship. So it depends on who you are. Some people prefer to relax in their cabin. I can always find a handy chair, usually on deck 5, that is outside. I can watch the ocean and have some peace and quiet if that's what I'm looking for. So storage. Storage is always a big question. So how much storage do you have, especially on an interior cabin? So in a cabin like this, how much space do you have? Well, there's lots of storage. There's storage in the closet, as you've seen. There's shelves in the closet. Plus there are drawers that are in the desk as well as above the desk. So there's shelves and there's space around and under the bed for storing your luggage. The desk area usually has extra storage. And if you see in the pictures, there's also a place where there is a fridge area and there is a safe. So, which is really important on a cruise ship. You want to make sure your valuables are always locked up. So, what really matters, because you don't have an extra balcony or extra window, is that you got to watch your clutter. So, a few tips for you. Slide your suitcase under the bed if it fits. If not, you're going to have to put it in the closet. Use the shelves right away instead of living out of a suitcase. Unpack. You'll get more out of your cruise if you unpack. Keep the desk area mostly clear so the room feels bigger. Magnets. Magnets are really handy. The walls are all metal on a cruise ship. So we used magnets to hang things like we ordered bathrobes. So we had magnets for the bathrobes. We had magnets to put our key card when we came in the door, and magnets for hanging the bathing suits to dry. So magnets are very, very handy. And you know, as you can see, we've used magnets all over the place. So consider getting some because they really make your inside cabin or any cruise cabin you're on feel much more comfortable. So let's talk about what an interior cabin feels like, because people really want to know this. The biggest thing, of course, is there's no natural light. For some people, this is a downside. For me, it's amazing. I like to sleep when it's really dark, and it's really cozy and it's great for sleeping. And it's surprisingly quiet, right? You have to watch your location, but inside cabins are usually surprisingly quiet. And this one was no exception to that. So if you like sleeping in, this could be your dream cabin, because you're not going to be awakened with the light coming through the window. You can wake up, look around, and honestly have no idea if it's 7 a.m. or noon. It could be dangerous, but you're on holidays, so it's really wonderful. The downside, if you like sunshine first thing in the morning, you have to go outside. You have to get up, grab your coffee, and go sit outside by the pool, or as I mentioned before, on deck 5, where there's just a walking path where you can sit really quietly all by yourself if you want. So it really depends on your travel style. I think a cabin like 4027 on Grandeur of the Sea is a great fit if you want to save money. And I'm one person, so I'm retired. I'm looking to get the best deals I can, and I want to enjoy my time on the ship. So if you have an inside cabin or you have a balcony, you get the same benefits. You get to eat the same food, you get to see the same shows, you get to do all of the same things as someone that spent triple the amount of money. It's also great if you don't want to spend most of your time in the cabin. You want to be out and about on the ship. Or if you just need a clean, comfortable place to sleep. Or anyone who loves a dark room for napping. It's also good for the budget-conscious cruisers who want to cruise more often. That would fall into who I am. I want to cruise. And if I can get 2 cruises for the same price as 1, or maybe 3, count me in. If your room is mainly your home base and not the main event of your travel, an interior can be a very smart booking. Now, as with any interior cabin, there's a few things to keep in mind. There's no window, which means no natural daylight. I get around that because I want to be out and about, and I want to be up on deck. The space is more compact than a balcony or an ocean view, but it's fully functional. You'll want to stay organized so it doesn't feel crowded. Some people may prefer a little bit more openness. I'm perfectly fine with it, but I'm not everyone. But if your priority is value, comfort, and cruising without overspending, then an interior cabin can absolutely do the job. So what are my final thoughts? Overall, cabin 4027 on Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Sea is a good example of what an interior cabin is all about. It's simple, it's functional, it's budget friendly, and it's comfortable enough for a great cruise. It may not have the wow factor of a balcony, but it can still be a solid choice, especially if you'd rather put your extra money through excursions or specialty dining, or in my case, another cruise altogether. So if you found this video helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future cruise, cabin tours, ship tours, casino content, excursions that are budget friendly, and cruise tips. Are you on team interior cabin? Or do you need a window or a balcony to be happy on the cruise? And always remember, if not now, when? See you in the next video.